got caught up,
Okay.
so she can't make it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so I didn't make copies of this, but it's like 5 pages. I don't know if you want me to, or
We're gonna go over these two. Reconciliation. There's stuff there if you want to see. Well, what can you tell us, I guess?
So tonight, what we're trying to do is get approved the letter of intent. And just wanted to make abundantly clear, this is a non-binding letter of intent to apply for the to start the application process. So this letter of intent is simply to start a process that is completely not committing the town to anything. It's just committing to start the process, which means if we get a letter of intent in and that's approved by the DECD, Department of Economic Development, then we'll get assigned a person, which I've already been in touch with, Doug Ray, who worked with us on the last community development block grant. Then they'll get in touch and direct us on the process for the application. So all we're trying to do tonight is this letter of intent, which I put together, which I have had. Mary was on vacation and she was up in MDI today, didn't quite make it back down. So that's where she's been the last little bit. But she's approved this. She's looked over and coached me a bit on this LOI. So all we're doing tonight is to basically get approved and you all sign off on just a couple of pieces here from the community part, just to apply for start the application process. And again, it's completely non-binding for the town, and it's just to apply to start.
I guess my question is a very simple one. What's in it for the town? What's the benefit to Joe Sixpack that lives up on the middle road or something? You know, what benefit is the town's taxpayers going to see?
So I believe the purpose of the program is economic development. So what this is for is this is a grant to help us bring more jobs in quicker, right? So we're going to, like in this program, we're committing to add 4 full-time jobs in this town, which I think is good for the town. This is state funding to help propel that economic growth.
These 4 jobs, is this people you're going to bring from another facility, or is these are new?
No, these are brand new jobs.
Brand new jobs.
Yep, so this is 4 brand new jobs, so they haven't seen this.
no.
Okay, got it. Let's take a step back. Sorry, I thought you guys had read it.
Yeah, no, I just read it.
You mean this one here?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, just give us a second here.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm reading
No, I see in there where it says you're going to revitalize an existing
modular, yeah, right. The EDP funds will be utilized to support our growing workforce by making important investments in our production space. The EDP funds will help us pay for greater expenses to support production such as ventilation, material handling, staff training, shop tools.
And if everything goes the way you hope and you plan for it to go,
Sure.
how many jobs is the place going to have? If everything goes well and you're selling these things like hotcakes.
Yeah, as related to this grant?
Yeah. It relating to this location. I mean, is it possible that sometime you might be employing 20 people, 10 people?
I think it'll probably be more like 50.
Really? Okay.
But what you've written here is the municipality is assured that 4 jobs will be created. Is that
Correct,
something
yeah.
and I did see what you just said. It says here, all communities wishing to apply must use this letter of intent, but then it says applicants who submit a completed letter of intent deemed to be fully compliant will be notified that they are eligible to then submit a full application.
Right.
So we're really not.
You're not committing.
No, I don't have that. I mean, I guess what's hard for us is these, we're going to be blunt with you, the terms and the knowledge. None of us are not that knowledgeable of this.
Yeah.
So, but what we're looking at is this is, excuse the term, but it's government money that's being available to help economic growth.
Yes.
And the town of Woolwich is sort of a host in this.
Conduit, yes.
A conduit, okay.
Yep.
All right, I don't want to say it. So
Yep.
we're a conduit, and the idea is because it brings jobs to our community, and it helps support business, which in turn
How much,
That's exactly.
how much staff time is it gonna take? I mean,
For us.
for us?
How have we been doing so far?
0.
So this is what we intended, so we do most of the legwork, like I may, have some phone calls with Kim, that sort of stuff, kind of the coordination type stuff. A lot of the administrative time will fall on our DECD person, Mary Ellen, who's very gracefully, like you indicated before, she's not part of this region, but because we're expanding and not relocating, we're still she's still here to support us, so she does a lot of work. She helps heavily with this, so it's really our administrative burden here and our benefit, and then it will continue to be, I'm going to be definitely keeping Kim in the loop as we progress, and then as we get into the application process, you may have to join us for some calls and that sort of stuff with the DECD person, particularly as they lay out the application process. But as far as the administrative actual work, like we did here, that's our burden.
And you don't really need anything with Saginaw County, you don't need, are you gonna be in any way, I don't even know, does Saginaw County have a economic development?
I think Mary Ellen is stepping up because I think she would have handed us off if there was someone in her type of role, but.
Right.
I don't think we even have that in Saginaw County, I've never heard of it.
I'm surprised Bath doesn't. I would
Yeah.
think Bath would.
That's the thing, it's just new to us.
Yeah,
So it kind of looks like if we do incur some administrative costs of any size, we could get those, right?
I think we could get into the application.
Yeah. I don't think we have a problem if it's a small things, right, Kim? But I mean, if we spend hours, we don't have to have our town attorney involved and all that kind of stuff, right?
I don't believe so, any more than you may want. When we get into the application, it's quite a bit of work. And so, it's not 5 pages. And so, when we get into that, I don't know how we operate, you may want them to take a look, that sort of thing, because there is money involved. So, if I was you, I'd probably have them take a look at it, but there definitely doesn't need to be any real legal work other than, yep, this is a state document, it's done in, dozens of towns across Maine all the time. They'll probably be familiar with it if they work with municipalities. That's about all I know about that.
I know I read somewhere that it did say that the town couldn't get anything other than reasonable costs to cover the cost of implementing the program. I mean, there must be some money involved for us to offset the staff time.
Yeah, there may be. I know last time we talked about, you all may reach out to the town of Millborough.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to do that?
No, I have not done it yet.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. They would, other than me just telling you from my position, they'd probably be good. And again, like I said in my last email, Mary Ellen is more than happy to talk with anyone and guide anyone in between meetings and that sort of stuff. But I know that in my, one time doing this, there was, the town was very happy with how we did. And, we had, I think with the first one, for quite a bit more money than this, we committed to 3 jobs. We ended up bringing on 9. And so it was a kind of success for everybody.
Me personally, I don't have that much of an issue with this pilot because I mean, if this is a process, I wouldn't want to be a trig cog or what do you call it, But I do. We are appreciative of our administrators.
Absolutely.
I think that's all we want to do is we don't temper on hours and hours and hours. But it looks like this step is just the first step anyway.
Yeah, and so what we could do, and again, it is a process, right? So if we could move past this and get basically the green light to apply, that's when we really can put together a little meeting with the DECD person, and that's when they lay out all of the stuff. Because again, Mary Ellen isn't DECD. Mary Ellen's just Lincoln County. Right. So, and she's the one that they delegate work to. And so, but Doug Ray and the DECD folks, who is really the one that administers the whole program and that sort of stuff. So I think it would be, this is kind of all the information we have at this stage. And then when we move into that that next stage, that's when they lay out, here's that. But I would plan to move forward just like we have, we'll do the paperwork and then, make sure everyone's happy with it, that sort of thing, and move forward. But again, this is a state program that's done in towns all over the state all the time, so it should be pretty boilerplate.
How long does it take for the letter of intent to process, to get
I
processed?
think Mary said we should hear within a couple of weeks, so it's not a long time.
Okay.
But, and again, I've been communicating pretty directly with DECD, we're a known entity because we've already done this before, so they are encouraging us to do this and reapply as we're expanding, so.
When would you, so just in your knowledge, when would it, what time frame would it take? So let's say in a couple weeks you heard something
Yeah.
and then you apply, what is that time?
So I believe we could get everything done in August, to have the application in by September, to funding happen probably beginning of October, and within this application, or LOI, you're saying we'll be able to deploy funds within 120 days of that. So it'll likely be for administrative part of that. This is, it's $100,000, so it's not that much money. So we would do that in 1 to 2 disbursements. So as far as administrative time there, that's 1 check, maybe 2 checks. And it's all wrapped up 120 days from the time the application is greenlit.
What do you think? I'm curious.
And all the reporting, honestly, all the reporting onus is on us.
Okay.
So there's no reporting anything on the town. It's we, track expenses against the sort of sources and uses we're going to put together, and that sort of thing.
It acts to me like, maybe way too simple on this, but it just acts to me like the municipality's involvement is really because somebody above us wants to make sure that we welcome you to our community. And it seems like that it almost acts like, before we give money to these guys to go to Woolwich, we're going to make sure that Woolwich wants them to come to Woolwich. I mean, maybe I'm making that a little weirder than it is, but
I think so. I mean, just how it was explained to me in the beginning is it's a program. It's a local program, not necessarily a regional program.
Yeah.
So they really want businesses to expand within the geographic area that they start in, that they get going and that sort of stuff. And because we're just on the other side of the line, right there, they think this is good, and we're maintaining our other facility. So that's why it works here, but they really want to tie business growth into where they keep it local, basically, is what it's all about.
Yeah, I think, me personally, I think your activity is a perfect fit for the industrial park. I don't know, Debbie is the secretary of the planning board, I don't know what went on with all that, but it seems like they're an ideal fit for our industrial park. Don't you think, Debbie? I mean, as far as impacts and just...
Again, it's a community development block grant, so it's developing the communities, right? And
I don't know, what do you-
I mean, I'll reach out to Noblesboro and talk to them, because they've been through the process.
yeah.
And then if I get a yay or nay and they'll tell me to run away, then,
Yeah, Sue, do you know Sue over there?
I'm sorry,
Do
who?
you know Sue?
I do not.
Okay, she's
But she's
about
the
as
one that-
straight shooter
okay.
as they get.
Perfect, okay.
So would you mind if we vote on this tonight, pending?
Absolutely.
Like we would, David, I'm
Well,
just speaking.
can't
out
you
of
do the
turn.
letter of intent, because that doesn't guarantee anything, right?
But do we need to vote to do that, or do we?
Yes, I think we should do a vote in public. We advertise this as a meeting, I don't know why we couldn't do it right now.
That's what I mean, we're allowed to vote now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would move we do that. I move that we authorize David or whatever to sign on behalf of the town, the letter of intent.
I just want Kim to let us know
Yeah.
if this thing's even smells a little bit of going bad, keeping her too busy, I don't want the town to get wrapped up into something that we get absolutely nothing out of. I'm all for helping somebody if it don't cost anybody.
So you don't think the job creation or the,
That's a second.
Okay, all right.
I think the concern is speaking for Dale, is the unknown, like, is this gonna create 75 hours worth of work for Kim? I don't think it is, the way you're speaking, but we're all agreeing to this,
got it.
Okay, those in favor? All right, awesome. I see 2 places here where I have to sign it, correct, on page 4, and again on page...
Do you wanna come up, Stan? Yes, isn't it?
Page 4 and page 7, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Then all we'll need is that, the details come on just the front page.
Okay.
I think certainly if some of the other businesses, of what you have in Woolwich, hasn't taken advantage of stuff like
I
this,
think
they
it'd be wise
probably
to
wouldn't
leave
think
it
about
up to
it,
that for us to keep.
you know?
Yeah, I think it's just like anything, not knowing, right? I never, we, not to be ignorant, we never heard of it.
Yeah.
There's always something that you're educating us, and we'll get educated, I'm sure, with the process.
It's interesting looking at the boxes you've got down there. Now, the ones with the doors and windows, are those like a storage shed or something?
No, right now, the ones that are there are backyard studios, so people buy those for an office space in their backyard or accessory dwelling unit, and then we also have retail spaces, pop-up shops for other businesses, other businesses operate out of those. I don't know if you've seen any of the press about L.O. Bean's beach boxes. So they have them at Reed State Park, they have them at 3 state beaches in Maine and 2 in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, where they loan out beach gear for people. So everything's totally free, but for families and stuff like that, that do it at the beach. So that's an initiative that we started with them a couple of years ago that's expanded outside of Maine. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and love for you all to come down. We have all of our new assembly equipment, laminating equipment arriving in the middle of the month. And then that'll be up and running end of the month, early September. So once we get up and running.
Let us know when you're going. We'd love to come over.
Yeah, once that's up and running, then it's really something to see. Love to have you down and see what we're doing.
Yeah, no, great.
I think it's great that an empty building is going to be used. I hate seeing that building sitting there.
I don't know anything about this whole thing that much yet, but I think it's really a perfect kind of use for the industrial sale.
Different.
Well, it's different, it's low impact in the sense that, you know, like when we talk about traffic, when we talk about, and obviously we know there's no water or sewer over there, right? So this kind of a business can survive without public water and public sewer.
Yeah,
That's what makes our industrial park kind of tricky, you know?
yeah.
Without any, you know, we don't have natural gas, we don't have public water, we don't have public sewer. So it's got to be the right kind of a,
Right.
and you guys don't work 24 hours a day, so.
Not yet.
No, well,
Yeah.
it's an industrial park.
That's coming. But yeah, we actually hired our first 2 people locally, one who was 2 miles down the road this week.
I'm gonna get some copies of
Oh,
it.
okay. All right, good luck to you.
I'm gonna go get my
So we can-
UEI number on the back.
Yeah, Jenny, do you want to step up? Come right up.
Okay.
I know you have a timeline.
I do, I have a little.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
All right, we'll look forward to hearing from you.
Sounds good.
Bring it on down. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Nice to see you again.
You too.
My nomination papers for
Like for the school board, I think you do a very good job.
Definitely.
Sure, we want to do this. Excuse me. I'm not sure we want to do this.
We're on TV. No. What do you propose we do? You want pen?
Yep.
No, Jenny, I can't, personally, I can't thank you enough for the communications
No.
throughout the budget process.
Bless you.
You do give us a heart attack in the beginning, because as you know, we start at 6%. But you know what? I think you represent Woolwich well.
I try to
We're going to hold
balance,
up these two,
Yep.
just to be,
I try to balance
Yeah,
both
yeah.
of them, both the need and the ability to fund it.
want, need, and can afford, that seems to be a big one.
You have opposition?
Feeling good?
I don't think so. I'm the first person to
Gotta
take
do the
it.
whole nomination thing, I know that. Danny, do you have a second?
Yeah.
Come on down here.
What can I do this
Are
time?
you interested in signing a couple forms? Would you be interested in signing my nomination papers? For the selectmen? No, you don't have to. And then Jenny is our school, do you know Jenny?
I think about a couple times,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's our school board rep, and she's, if you're interested, these are just nomination papers. We got a second before Kim comes back, and maybe the fire chief will come on over too.
What do you want?
I don't know if we can sign.
Is that really what you have to say? What do you want?
What do you want?
You and, do you know Jenny?
Yeah.
She's our school board rep, and if you're interested in signing her nomination papers.
Oh, sure.
They're all Woolwich folks,
Yeah,
right?
if you're interested in
I'll
signing
go
her-
to Curtis back.
if you want.
You're there.
Doesn't mean you have to vote for me. Oh, good.
Excuse me, Libby.
You guys do those, you're in this one, okay. 1 second, Kim, we're almost there.
What's going on over
We did
here?
a big vote while we were going.
Did you now?
We were increasing your vacation, then we took it away.
We're now called the city.
Yeah, right, we formed a city and we changed the charter, we don't have it.
It's Woolwich now, not Woolwich.
Oh, Danny, why you going too far?
Oh.
It used to be a lot easier to get those signatures when we had our own dump.
Go to one
Is
place.
that what we're doing, signing paper papers?
Stand there on a Saturday morning, you can get 25 signatures in 25 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
You might try that movie old guy over there.
He's number one speaker.
Oh, he already signed it, good. Thank you.
All right, sorry about that.
Are you a Woolwich person or a George?
All right, everybody's here.
Everybody's here, we can start early.
We said immediately
Yep,
following.
alrighty, perfect. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First order of business tonight is approval of the previous meetings of 7/5 and 7/19.
to be ready.
I need the,
Here, the one is just one sheet, right?
Yes, and those were not added, those are the ones that you did on Friday afternoon and Tommy took the minutes, so if you want to sign those as well.
I
don't
don't
mind
mind.
signing both.
I
Yeah.
need the accepted,
Okay.
accepted as written.
It's 7/21.
It's
All right, so we're gonna do three. We're gonna do 7/5, 7/19, and 7/21. Could I have a motion?
I made a motion, move that he accepted as written.
Okay, and a second?
He wasn't at one of them.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
It
Okay.
wasn't on the 21st.
All right, 21st.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody want to make corrections or say those in favor? Okay. One's from the 21st, this one we went in and came under the...
Yeah,
Right. Selectmen's comments. Dale?
Nothing.
Jason?
I don't really have much, I just want to thank you guys, I know you, and Kim, and Danny, and Tommy, I guess, were at the Department of Labor meeting the other day, and I appreciate what you did, the outcome, and I know you've done some work too.
My comment is that we got a 90% reduction in the fines from the Department of Labor, primarily because of Danny. You did a great job. He had the answers before they asked the questions.
Yeah,
And
it was great.
It was great. And Kim was great too. On our side, she pointed out that our road commissioner is an elected official, and that you guys have your own safety equipment and everything, and the town isn't responsible for that. So that worked out really well.
Yes, and I hope you were following OSHA guidelines, Jack.
Yeah.
We do all of it.
I said, I think
They're
they
gonna be
do.
down.
I'm pretty sure they're federal, not just state.
Well,
And Jack,
and reprimand or fine.
Yeah,
well,
right.
the Department of Labor inspections next Tuesday at 9 o'clock.
So,
Or your show.
so Dale, so is it end up being like $4 or $5 bucks?
It should be, 90% reduction of 4,900 should come out to just a little under 500 bucks.
So is it for sure 90% yet?
No.
Yeah, well,
No.
it's not for sure until they sign off, but the guy said they very rarely don't take his recommendation. And they were impressed that we had jumped on everything and tried our best to fix everything as soon as and we also signed up for that program where we signed up for a program where they come down and monitor our progress, and if they find anything wrong, we don't get fined. They just tell us how to dot the I and cross the T, right?
So,
Yeah.
been planning that for quite a while.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well, I think it's new to us, I think, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's good, because they'll come in and they'll look at what you're doing, and they'll say, well, you haven't filled out this form, here's the form, fill it out. And there's no fine for that.
My department up north had it, it's called the shake board, and that goes around the wall and that keeps them right out of the building. That's what I want.
We've dealt with, I mean, the safety works part, we've dealt with, and they're a good resource to get things, but not to say it the wrong way, but if you want to find something, they can always find something,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Well, I've been involved in municipal government in one form or the other for almost 50 years now, and I can tell you that the amount of paperwork and the amount of confusing paperwork is 10 times what it was years ago. I mean, it's just, they just keep, they never take away a form, they always add a number.
All right, that's all I have.
Moving on, public comments. Debbie?
The community picnic is Saturday the 12th from 11 to 2:30, 11:30 to 2.
11:30 to 2, yeah.
Monsters will be there from about 12 to 1.
That's a week from this Saturday, and we have a lot of street there, permission to use that for parking. And I will do my best to get it mowed between now and then.
Right, just for the record, I have written permission from Philip. David's volunteered to mow it. Philip's good with that, good with the town using it for parking and whatever we need. And they did move some of I noticed that some of the stuff's gone. The paper's been moved and some other things. So anyway, so that's a good thing.
All right? Road Commissioners report.
I don't really have anything, David, everything's in pretty good shape.
We survived that last
We
storm,
did,
all right?
Yeah, we had a couple of regular jobs, but nothing of any consequence. I don't know, you have anything, Kim?
No? Nothing? Oh, there was a person that called about it.
There's always calls that we go check out and see things and do things. So when I say there's really nothing, that doesn't mean that there isn't something to address, but there's nothing for any problem.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Where's McGee paving right now?
Was what?
McGee, they paving all state or something?
No.
They've been hauling up and down?
They're not paving. They've been hauling to us.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, no, they've been hauling winter sand.
Gotcha.
And they got a little bit in the morning, they're done. And I know they go across.
No, I was just curious.
How many more?
I think there's only one more. There was 32 trailer trucks, and we got one more. So, yeah. And I thought about that last year. I know they went across, and we're trying to steer them, but they're doing all right.
You said we had signed that thing on that road, bridge?
Yeah, we've talked about it. So Devin has reached out about the DOT agreement for the bridge on Old Stage Road. And in this case, it's something I think we would want to sign. They're going to video Mountain Road and all that kind of stuff. And when they do that bridge closure replacement, they detour traffic, obviously, on Mountain to Bradford or whatever to get around it. So Devin has all the paperwork here. They're going to bid in the next couple of weeks.
They're going to use Mountain, Old Stage, Mountain and Old Stage on our side of the line, and of course US Route 1, and then on the Wiscasset side they're going to use the Old Bath Road.
Right.
So, I mean, there's no other way to get to that bridge, so it wouldn't make any sense for us not to sign this.
Right.
Just so you know, though, Sean, it says right here, we've been working with Devin, there's requirements to notify you guys. But what he told me was, they want to go to bid because there's a big problem getting materials. So the steel and all this stuff. So the idea is, he told me yesterday, that hopefully next July and August, when school is out, the driest time, and they hope to do it, and there's a drawing, and they're going to do all kinds of stuff. It's going to be a concrete deck bridge, slightly wider than what's there. They're going to reuse the existing abutments.
It'll have a higher weight rating.
Oh yeah, it'll be unposted.
That'd be good.
Yeah, it'll be unposted. But anyway, I guess we don't really have any choice, you know, but it talks about appropriate signage, notification of emergency
Yeah.
services.
Okay, motion for me to sign this?
So moved.
Second. Those in favor? I'll take a minute to sign this.
I'm trying to think of what he told me, any other updates. I mean, you know, the lights had to, the light got tweaked a few times, you probably know, it's been acting kind of funky, but they're still planning on a couple of years to get everything, you know, that around here. He's kind of juggling this job and that job, and then there's the intersection job, and I don't know.
All right, codes officer, we don't have a written report from him tonight?
No, but do you want to talk about Bailey Bluff during codes? So,
We can, yeah, and.
You want to?
You want me to tell you what I don't know?
Absolutely.
So you know is kind of someone I know, but there's been some, let's see, the DEP's been down, Chris has been there, he's been dealing with potential tree planting and not tree planting, and there's been some back and forth. I think that the owners are still not up to speed, obviously. But Kristen did chime in on one of his messages and said that there's still a hearing scheduled, that it still goes to a court proceeding of some sort. And I think.
I don't think we should cancel that court proceeding.
Oh, no.
I think, you know, I don't see where they are on board with doing what they're supposed to do. I think they're still in the stall and hope it'll go away more.
well, when I talked to Chris about it, he had met with the owners and the landscapers, and the landscapers had no indication that they were supposed to do the replanting whatsoever. They just gave them the design of it. So Chris was very frustrated with them because it says in the consent agreement that they had to have,
Well, the space.
professional landscaper do the work.
What they did on their own before
Right.
didn't amount to anything.
Right.
They just picked trees up on their property, moved them, and, you know, they made no provisions to make sure they're gonna stay alive or anything else. So, I mean, if they don't come up with a professional.
But yeah, I'll be happy to read this real quick if you want. So from Chris, it said to the attorney, and I don't know if he reaches out to me, but, so another snag, our meeting Friday was canceled by the landscaping company. It was rescheduled for today. I met them this morning only to find out, this was on July 26th. I met them this morning only to find out that the landscape company they wanted to use had no intention of doing the work. They were only going to order the trees and have them delivered. I quickly ended the meeting. It was made clear that the consent agreement number 3 said that a qualified landscape contractor had to do the work. He mentions Lane Crafters Woolwich and Jorgensen, whatever, have been contacted. I'm comfortable with both. However, both are busy and we are already or close to August, we're in August, right? Kristen's response was, the hearing will come eventually and it is their job to get this done before then. And so
When is the hearing, do you know?
well, there's no date yet. This was on July 28th when she responded. And so I get your frustration. I'm with you, Kim.
Right,
I think
it's
we
2
all
years.
want, but I think I guess, all we can do is let it play out, I guess. I don't know what we do.
I just think that they're gonna just keep dancing us around,
Yeah.
hoping that at some point we're gonna lose interest. And we can't.
The trees are naturally gonna grow by themselves.
Right, well, 25 years, yeah, right. The difficult part is our only other option is to go do it, but we may never get our money back. And so
I don't understand why you can't do it and lien the property.
Right.
And Kristen is saying that we can't. There's no provision in the law for us to do that. That just seems to be
Right.
counterproductive to the whole thing. I mean, that's always been
That's always been the
walk
way-
soft
yeah.
and carry a big stick, right? That's always been our big stick. If you don't do it, we're gonna do it, lien your property, and we're gonna basically own your property, you know?
this
He's
is.
kind of curious to see what they did in Sebago, right?
Yeah. The only thing, and I was telling you about this the other day, the only thing my knowledge or experience with all these, we don't have a lot of leverage in this situation, right? If this got stopped, if this got really caught and stopped the first day, I say, Sebago has a house, it has property, it has a retaining wall. At Damerscott Lake, about the house up there, it's uninhabited, brand new, because of the shoreline violation.
It's just up from my daughter's house.
Right, we know about other violations. When I don't, the word leverage isn't great, but you have a hold there because you can't go forward, you can't sell it, you can't keep building, you can't do anything to the stuff. This was a unique situation where it was clearly just tree cutting, right? So, I think
But they also were warned several times to stop.
that's where the ball is difficult to, it's, as you know, David, if I come out today and you're cutting a tree, then you get stopped, and then maybe I should come back tomorrow or the next day, and then maybe the sheriff's department should come or something. I'm just saying, with our time frame,
I know.
this has been, what, 2 or 3 years now, right? So our time frame got
My concern is if we buy it up from the water,
Yeah.
it is so blatant.
Yeah.
It
Oh, I'm not-
shows up like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
And if we don't do something with this one, what's gonna stop the next guy?
Oh, I'm not at all,
You know,
I'm not at all.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying that, I think we've gotta figure out how to play hardball with this and play hardball. I mean, they will, I would have sympathy for them if they didn't know that they were doing something wrong and they were never warned. But they were warned several times, I think.
Haven't they been told what they have to do?
No, they have, we have a consent agreement which they violated, but the only alternative for the town is to go down there and spend $30,000 of our money, and even if it is an attachment to the property, maybe 20 years before we ever get it back. So the attorney's idea is, well, let's not do that right this minute, let's let it keep going. You hope somebody will step up to the plate in the pressure room. They have an attorney now, so they obviously have some funds to, so all I know is myself is we kind of have to defer to what
Well, you expect people to do the right thing, do the correct thing, right? And it's frustrating when they just blow you off, which is basically what they're doing. Okay, so I think we need to.
Stay tuned.
Okay. So we're taking care of COVID. Danny, EMS report.
EMS report. So, in July, we responded to 30 calls, seeing a total of 31 patients, and we transported 20 to hospitals. We also provided mutual aid to Wiscasset 2 times, to Dresden, Westport Island, and Wiscasset, and we used MC1 for assistance 3 times. So that was that. For our personnel, we have a new EMT that we're waiting for the background check on, submitting an application. So we are getting people. We have another EMT that used to work for us some, so is already on our rolls. That he lives out of town, so it was hard for him before. He's requested to come back and start taking shifts. So we do have that, and we have 3 other people that have asked that we've given applications, and I've been contacting them to make sure to move them along to see if they'll join us. So we do have some relief on that front, getting some more people in. I am still working on filling out the officers' roles. Dean Stanton will remain as the QA/QI officer. I'll currently remain as the designated infection control officer, which is required to do for both sides. Though we need another person to do that, we have to have a backup, so we're going to have to look at our budget and train another person to be that. And Jason Downing is stepping up as our training officer to help organize trainings for us, because that's his field. He's an educator, he's an instructor, so hopefully we'll be able to get more training in soon. Administrative news, end of July, we underwent the day of the Department of Labor meeting, a main care inspection, site inspection, so we can continue to receive payments from main care. And as far as I know, we passed that. They said they'd send a letter. We also have to enroll for a year-long Medicare study, submit records to them. The federal government is doing a study to see about raising Medicare repayment rates. And they've picked a lot, like every service is going to have to do this at some time in the next 5 years. So ours starts in July, so next year I'll have to finish reporting to them. And we also have a Medicare inspection coming up, the annual inspection. So make sure our trucks are actually ours and we're taking care of them. And my last item, and I'm not sure exactly the formal procedure for this, I have a purchase request. We have a suction unit on Rescue 2. Apparently a few months ago we found the one that we had on there to borrow from someone else, and they wanted it back. So we put an old one that we had in storage in there. It's really old, it's failing. And this is something that's required to have by Maine EMS and Medicare and everyone on our trucks, and it's something that's good for carrying. This thing is not holding a charge, it's not keeping power, it's not going to last long. And I don't want to spend $1,000 of our equipment budget at the beginning of the year, but it's something that has to be addressed right away. So I looked at I got printouts from 3 reputable medical vendors. I looked at others, and they were all about $400 more. And the least expensive one that I could find with shipping included is $1,055.99. And it's something we have to have, and it's something, the unit we get would also match the one in Rescue 1, so that when we're buying supplies, we only have to buy one type of supply, and it will save us money in the future, so we're not getting that. So I'm not sure if I give you this letter.
Give it to us as a purchase order, and we'll initial it.
Yeah, so I would move we approve that purchase order request.
It's from our equipment budget. So.
Right? Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor?
And that's the end of my report.
Okay, is that it? Okay. Sean?
All right. We've had 11 calls since the last meeting. Several of those were EMS assist, lifting assistance, and that nature. Couple accidents, nothing too crazy. Currently, the guys are all right now doing the yearly pump test with Ken Desmond. I don't anticipate any issues with that. All trucks been inspected. Main State inspection stickers this past week. I have 3 that need to go in for little things, tie rod, little things like that. That'll get taken care of within the next week. And then we're all set with that. Resident fire chief. They have a resident and a fire chief. They've reached out to me. They're hurting right now. They've got 7 people. So he's a hurt unit. He's reached out to us, Wisconsin, Richmond, say, hey, that, we might need some help if we have anything, bad. So, communication line's pretty good there, so I don't have a problem with that. We got the tent set up last night, so that's good to go for that. And then I have 1 junior application to get approved. He is the son of one of our veterans, Shane Plummer. That's his boy. He'll be 14 shortly this month. So I'd like to get him on board. And then I have my bills to submit. The bottom line on the billing, I chatted with him about this last week, is the SCBA that we got approved to use the ARPA funds for back in January, I think it was. So I threw that on there just so that we could get that billed in the new year.
Do we need to vote on this?
I don't think so.
Thank you for
The juniors have always been on your purview.
Yeah, I just,
Thank you.
on the background stuff.
So Kim, you're all good with the, yes, I saw you nodding.
Yeah, it's the last page on there. And that's all I have. We got 1 new member that just started tonight. He was approved at the last 2 board meetings ago. He's getting started tonight, so.
Do you have the slips that go with the Napa bill?
Yeah, I'm trying to track those down. That's one reason. I called Nat today, but apparently Bridget wasn't in today, so. I don't like things that are on my desk that don't have slips.
We'd like to have them.
Oh yeah, I'd like to have them too.
All right, thanks, Sean. Old business, purchase and sale agreement. Is there something we need to do with that?
I think David, you're up to speed with the conversation we had downstairs.
Yep.
So it's being reviewed by Philip and Marilyn's attorney, and there's a couple minor little tweaks just to clarify. I think we're going to try and attach the lot description with it. That's what we heard, right?
Yeah. They just want to put a description of the lot. That lot actually crosses the road, and there's another section of that lot on the other side of the road. We're not purchasing that, we're just purchasing what's on this side of the road. And he wants that more clearly defined. And what we told him is that, I believe from town meeting, that that I have the authority to sign this as soon as they bring it back to us and everything, so we'll do that. I told him, let me know when he had everything in order, and we'll run it past our attorney. Their attorney's talking to our attorney, so once our attorney says that everything's correct and all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, I told him we'll just have a meeting here and I'll sign it and we'll cut him a check. And Mr. Bailey will sell his property. You see that in the paper?
I'm sorry?
They had Philip and Marilyn Bailey in the paper.
Oh, I did see that. I did see that. Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Baker Bailey, it's all of it.
MMA voting.
Yeah, we tabled that the last time.
Yeah, we tabled it the last time because we weren't sure we knew any of these people. I still don't know any of these people. And let's face it, you either vote for, there's only one person running for each vacancy, so we either vote for them or we don't vote at all.
I think, that's right, I think we tabled it, I talked to Allison this morning, and I don't know, she vouches for the, I don't know, whatever you guys want to do. I suppose we could turn that around and say that these folks that are willing to step up and run for these, that it's a good thing, so we should support them.
Represent
So,
towns.
Let's put it this way, whether we vote for them or not, they're gonna get elected. right?
Most likely.
There's nobody running
No.
against them, so they don't need, all they need is one vote and statewide, so
I
I would
say
say that we,
I'll make that motion, I guess.
second. You guys can have the option of signing and not. All right. Anything else on the old business, Kim?
No.
Okay. We have the distinct pleasure of sending the county, the Saginaw County, $873,931. Quick, what's the last thing the county did for you?
Sheriff was at my call yesterday.
Other than take $873,931 out of my pocket.
We know
I
that-
paid my paycheck
We
last
know
year.
that's a lump sum payment in October, right? No, I don't mean.
Yeah, I know.
that
I
is
tried
a-
to give him my paycheck last year, they just didn't accept it.
Right, I remember that.
You see who's the county commissioner for that now?
Yeah.
He's the biggest spender we ever had on the RSU one.
I move that we sign the county tax assessment.
Is that what reluctantly?
Wow, what are we gonna do?
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Yeah, October's an expensive month.
Yes, it is. Pay your taxes, please.
Okay. Tax overpayments.
Yes, so when Candace does her tax reconciliations, and when I was doing them 6 years ago, there are 2 tax payments that have a credit, and it's probably been since, I don't know when. They've been on there since I've started, and that was back in 2018. And one of them, it's a credit, and one of them actually belongs to Jack Shaw. And the other one is Victor Insa. And when I talked to Juanita about it, she said that it was property that was bought and sold, so we don't know who paid the taxes on it, so we can't really credit it. But what do we do with the money? I guess I'm confused on, I can't continue to, have a credit on the rest of the property.
Yeah,
It's like $38. It's a very minuscule amount, but what can we do with the money? Because I either have to, every year it just gets credited over, but it doesn't go anywhere. So these 2 accounts don't even exist anymore. It's like property that was merged.
She said we can't just cut them a check and be done with it.
I don't know. I guess I'd have to talk to the auditors on it and see.
Why don't you do that?
Is that-
You
it's
cut you
just-
guys a check, it's
Wow.
$26.27, it'll buy you
I
donuts.
see, well, it's the company name, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
then
see.
these other people, is that,
I don't even know who they are.
I don't.
$12.60, yeah.
Yeah.
Carl E.
Carl-
White
Carlo White and Victor Insa
in,
in 2022.
Well, that's just 2022. No, these have
It's
been
been
on
carried for a
there.
long time.
That's just where the money's at currently, because it hasn't
Well,
transferred over.
Yeah, I would think the auditors.
talk to the auditors and see if we can just write 2 checks. Do we even have an address for these people?
I have no, yeah, no. So I don't even know how to get a hold of them.
Does it become unclaimed property or that kind of thing? I mean,
Could.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
We could always do that, we could turn it over to the state or some
Yeah.
kind of property.
Yeah.
It says Carlo White and Victor Insa. Yeah.
Who's kind of white and not, it's kind of white.
Oh, yeah.
I'll look and see if I can figure out who they are.
It would be the White Farm on the Judge Wright Road, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we have looked that part to see that.
All right, do that.
Okay.
Check with the auditors, see if we can just write a check. You guys can voice by
Okay. Great.
Anything else?
Yeah, the last thing I have is bank reconciliations. I have completed April and May. And
And the numbers
Jason
match,
came-
top and
if
bottom?
there's a zero balance at the end of it, I'm happy with
Yeah,
that.
so what we have here is we have 0 and 0, and for me to sign, we need the authority for me, the board
Yes.
to vote for me to sign this.
So-
I make a motion that we allow Jason to sign these 2 documents.
Second?
Those in favor? Sign away.
Thank you, Kim, for all the work.
Yes.
This has been a long time.
It's been a process.
So this clears up the one where it was off 1 month, but came
No,
back,
don't
correct?
that one is still, that one is still mind-boggling.
Don't get too pushy.
Yeah. I will attempt that one, maybe
Well-
tomorrow or Friday.
Do we know when the auditors are coming? or
I have
they-
not received any information from
Okay.
them. It'll probably be September or October again, who knows?
Right, well, hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully before commit, I know it.
hopefully before commitment.
It actually was a little odd.
It was odd, yes.
All right, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, 6:22.